We're out on another quick fix car repair on the 2015 Lincoln MKS. We're going to be swapping out a few things. So what we got here is the brake caliper and caliper bracket, which is going to be on the back driver and passenger side. We're going to swap both of those out, as well as the rotors for both sides. Those are really big rotors. And we're going to do the brakes as well. So make sure y'all get with us on all of our channels. Puro Mobile Repair Service. If you see this truck in Dallas and you need your car repaired, go ahead, shoot us a message. So this is the Lincoln MKS here. We'll give you a front and back look at the vehicle really quick, just so you can tell what you're messing with. Now this is going to be really simple. All we're going to do here is do one side at a time. We're going to go ahead, we're going to break them all loose before we jack the vehicle up. Of course, you don't need the impact wrench, it just makes things a lot faster. It's making me work harder than I intended to take off stupid tire. All on the floor. I got my jack stand posted up right underneath the cross member where the lower control arm goes. Now we got our rotor and caliper set exposed. Okay, so here's the issue here. The guy broke up his piston. As you can see here, he was riding with the brakes too low, ate up his rotors. Someone already came out here, started the job. And I typically don't like working after people who start jobs, but that's completely fine. In this case, it looks like you were going to remove a little torque screw. Once you got that out, the rotor would come off. I'll show you on the flip side how that looks, or how about when I put it back on. Okay, so now all we have to worry about at this moment is how do we take the brake line off from the caliper. It's going to be pretty simple. All right, so as long as your e-brake is off, you want to make sure your e-brake is off. Here's my e-brake. E-brake is all the way up, so the e-brake's off. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to start by taking a 16mm wrench, and we're going to take off the brake line. So you're going to want to turn this counterclockwise. It can be tough and a bit awkward because of how this thing sits, but we got to get this off. Oh man, but she's got to come off. There it is. We got it loose. So we're gonna sit here, we're gonna twist this. Now, as you can see, actually, I don't know if you can tell from off in the corner, but see that? So what we're gonna actually have to do is we're gonna have to loosen this thing up from where the spring is at. This is your emergency brake. Okay. Now, what we need to do is really compress this in. This has to compress in order for us to get this clip off of this hook. Okay. It's going to be a real difficult task. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off this back piece, this star key to get the whole bracket off. Then we should be able to take this clip off super easy from this assembly as a whole, and then we'll just go from there because we got all new pieces anyways. Wrench, so right there I got my T30. Just gonna put it on my boss drill so I'm not sitting there fighting with this thing. You don't want it to catch your freaking hand. It's the last thing you want to do. You do not want it to catch your freaking hand. Alright, well that came out. So, alrighty, that works as well. So, when you're gonna replace this whole caliper, pretty much you just need to detach it from that spring. The new caliper is gonna come with it. You are gonna have to bleed the brakes after this. Okay. Now we have to get this bracket off of here. And how do we do that? We're going to do that by squeezing in these tabs, the ones I was trying to squeeze in earlier. So, using my needle nose, and then try to shimmy this stupid thing. Alrighty, looks like we got her. There's that bracket. There's your old broken piston. So if you actually compare the two, this one has the brake line on the top. This is the one we took off. The brake line's at the bottom. So we got to go get the other one for it to fit the way it should. I'm not going to play no games with this. From the vice grip, the back nut. It's not going to go nowhere. See, the other one we took off earlier, they didn't give us a huge fight like this. But whatever, she's coming off. With or without her consent, she's coming off. Alright. This number one. Jesus. This one's tripping too, so we're going to squeeze down on this bolt. And we're off. Off to the races. Alrighty. Get that stupid bracket off. It already comes with the hardware, so y'all don't get to complaining out there. You're not putting new hardware on it. Okay. So, this is how you got it. Brake line's gonna go in here. We'll pop that one out like that. Just the brake line in. This is where the emergency brake's gonna go. So, this should be easy. Alrighty. So we got that in there. Kind of tough. Well, I might gotta go this route with it. Alright, we're gonna go straight in like this. Alright. Okay, so we're in there. It's not coming out of there. All we gotta do is get this onto this clip here. It may be easier this way. I don't know. We're about to find out, but I'll tell you right now, this thing can be a headache. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get my vice grip on there. Get my vice grip. But I'm gonna get my vice grip right about on the neck of it, because I still need the square part to clip. So, nice firm grip. Alright. There it is. Okay, so now we got our parking brake, emergency brake clipped back on there. That's good. This is in place. All we got to do now is go ahead, put our freaking bracket back on there. It's gonna go behind here like this, but we'll do that afterwards. Now the rotor. Got a rotor here. We're gonna go ahead and chunk it on. You want to make sure that this hole lines up with your little hole on the rotor. Just like that. She's on there. Little Torx. I'm gonna set her right in there. It's gonna keep the rotor locked in place. There she is. Now we got our caliper bracket. And we're gonna set our screws right in the back. I'll show you how this caliper bracket goes on. Just a sec. I'm just starting the bolts out, so I'm not sitting here all night and losing daylight. But I want to make sure we get you guys some really good content. So here's our bolts. The bracket sits on like this. We're just going to twist these, tighten those up like such. No problem. We're going to do that top and bottom. Go ahead and get this stuff open. Just like that. Okay. We're going to squeeze us. This is for all you guys out there that say, why are you greasing brakes? They don't come from the factory that way. Yeah, well, what does it say? A brake lubricant. Which means you're supposed to grease them after you change them. Alright, so we're going to clean up this back end, lubricate that in. Put a little bit here and there, which we already did on the ears of the brake, but we're doing it some more. Thin layer here on the pads. You're going to slide them in there just like they go. And that's how those go on. Now, go ahead, put our piston on there, just like that. And we'll throw our screws on. Alright, she's on there. This one's on there. All we gotta do is tighten them up.